It is the first week of November 2024. Let's look at the market data for the Albuquerque real estate market. We're looking at the Albuquerque residential housing market, and we're looking at data directly from our multiple listing service. This is Tego Venturi Group, been doing these for years and giving you the update on what is going on in the real estate market. Thrilled to be doing them and getting everybody up to speed on what's going on. All right, let's jump into the data. Something a little bit different this month. I'm going to look at this in a 3-month rolling average. So we're looking at August, September, October, and then we're looking at the change. When we look at the change here, in this case, closed sales down 2.3%. That's a change from those same 3 months in 2023. So just kind of give you an idea. I wanted to spread that out a little bit so we can get a better read on where, just big picture trends, where things are. So if you look at closed sales, you can see it's down slightly from last year, and we're actually down about 19% from 2022. If we jump over here, October 2022, down 19%. From October of 2021, we are down 38%. And versus 2019, we're even down. So 2019, which was the last kind of what we'll call normal real estate market year here in the Albuquerque area, really in the whole country, we're still down about 35% less homes selling. So the number of homes selling continues to be slow. The amount of demand continues to be slow. And we'll look at that here in a second as well. All right, let's jump over to the number of homes for sale. So if we look at homes for sale, you can see we're at a high mark for really the last few years. We got to go back to 2022 to get to these levels. Still not back to that pre-pandemic level of the number of homes for sale, but it is much higher than we've seen in quite a few years. 29% more than last year, 34% more than 2022, and 60% more homes on the market in this year versus 2021. So that's really been a big move. But if we go back to October of 2019, we're still about 33% less homes on the market. So we are still in this short supply market. If you look at it from a historical standpoint, we just don't have many homes on the market. When we look at the number of homes coming on the market, you can see the trend has been going down year over year. Obviously, you got these ebbs and flows, these seasonal trends. But from last year, we did bump up a little bit, 3.5% more homes listed this year than in 2023. Again, if you look at this chart, and let's look at it this way, if we look at it in a 12-month average, that's over a 12-month period, you can see we went from, let's go back to 2019, almost 16,000 homes were listed for sale in that year versus this year, about 11,000. So still not as many people deciding to sell. A lot of people still staying in their homes. We have that lock-in effect in effect, meaning that people with the low interest rates aren't super motivated to move out of their homes right now. All right. Let's look at the demand side. I've got 2 metrics that we can look at. We could look at pending sales. If we look at this for October, again, this was just 3 months, up about 6% versus the same period last year. So there are more buyers out there than last year. The other thing we look at is we have the ability to look at shows per listing. I call this foot traffic, meaning the number of people out looking for homes. It's down from last year, which is interesting. Pendings are up, but the number of showings are down. So it tells me that there's people out there that are serious. And if they are out there looking, they're ready to go and ready to buy, even though the number of showings is down. And speaking of those crazy days, I wanted to show you one other thing. Percent of list price. This is a really interesting metric to look at. And what this is right now it's at 98.8%. What that means is of the homes that closed over the last 3 months, they averaged 98.8% of their list price, their final list price, not the original list price, because we have had a lot of price reductions. But if you go back here to 2021, you can see starting in 2021 all the way through into part of 2022, on average, homes were selling more than what they were listed for. We're back to, again, this normal level. And actually, it's still not as low as pre-pandemic levels where it was more like 98% of list price. Okay, got to talk about prices, sale prices. Median price now, again, we're looking at a 3-month moving average, 363,000. That's 3% higher than a year ago. And we're looking at all single-family detached homes, by the way, just to point that out. Average price now 415,870. So basically 416,000, about 1.5% higher than a year ago. So we are seeing year-over-year price appreciation, price growth, very moderate though. If we look at it from a price per square foot standpoint, which is a better kind of overall look at true appreciation, we're right at 3%, 2.9% versus a year ago. That's on the median. And then on the average price per square foot, 2.4. What that tells me is we're somewhere in that 2.5%, 3%, maybe 4% price appreciation range. And that's really going to depend on the price range of the home. More affordable homes in great areas are doing much better appreciation wise. Maybe more expensive homes, luxury homes, maybe not quite as much because the demand isn't quite as strong for those properties. But it really does depend because every home is very different. And you have to be very careful not to put these broad brush averages across everything. All right, I'm going to pull up another chart and show you where I think prices are going to be going here over the next few months, really through the end of the year. So here's this report. This is the pending report. What we're looking at, the homes that are under contract in the MLS right now, and this is a weekly tracker, and this tells us what the prices are of the homes that are under contract. If we look at the median pending price, it's now at $375 for, again, all the homes that are under contract right now versus $350 1 year ago. So that's 7% more. Really should tell us over the next few months that is what we're going to see for median price appreciation going into November and December and even into January. If we look at it from a price per square foot point, all the homes that are under contract, we're looking at 23 versus 24, 205 a year ago price per square foot versus 211 this year, about a 3% gain. So that's where I come up with this home price appreciation appears to be in that kind of 3, maybe 4% range. It kind of depends on which week you're looking at here when we look at this chart. And you can find this one on our website at welcomehomeabq.com. Got a whole bunch of other metrics there too. I'm not going to go into it right now, but you can dig into that if you would like. Hope that you find this helpful. If you got any questions about real estate in Albuquerque, just reach out to us. We're the Venturi Realty Group at 505-448-8888. And we are with Real Broker here in New Mexico. Take care.